now is the time to change the microphone.
Well, you know.
Well, welcome to another episode of Elden Ring podcast.
Where Liz and I talk about Elden Ring, and Brandon just sits there.
And looks at Elden Ring's facts on his phone.
I really think that the next time you're here, we could do an Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we could do an Elden Ring podcast. We ought to, diverge a little bit and just do an episode on okay, Brandon and I will do Elden Ring.
Well, by the next podcast, I'll have played at least an hour and a half of Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah.
We should look up how much we played. Look at the timer.
Mike's in the middle.
I'm in the middle.
That means he's hosting.
Yeah, whoever has the light gray chair is the host.
Oh.
Yes, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so today's episode is going to be all about the Circle Jerks in Bend, because I know that Liz's mom went to that concert a week and a half ago.
I was going to say, you have to probably define what circle jerks are, because that could be weird. We're talking about circle jerks today, guys.
Yeah.
Punk band of the 70s. Late 70s and then 80s, and then they off and on again, and now they're touring again. So, and we'll be there.
But the Circle Jerks are related in a way to what we're talking about today, though, because circles.
Yeah, okay.
And in a 3D sense, spheres.
Yeah, I was like, where are you going with this? All right, so are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Welcome, everybody, to the shot.
I know, God.
Oh, God.
Okay.
No. It's not 3 yet, so we have to wait another hour anyway.
All right, Katie's on. Ooh, I'm excited for
Who are they? If we survive Thursday, we'll tell you all about it on Saturday. Yeah. All right, it's going to be... Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right, you ready?
Yeah, we're ready. You ready?
Yeah, I guess so. All right, let's forget circle jerks. Let's not worry about them anymore.
Dad does not know. All right.
Yeah.
You should pull your chair forward about half an inch so it's not grating on the wall.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is that...
Perfect. That's good.
Okay.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Cosmos with Cosmos. As always, I'm Mike.
I'm Liz.
I'm Brandon.
Yes, and today we're going down a rabbit hole. We are going really far down the rabbit hole. I don't. Oh, it's gonna be bad. We're gonna talk about the flat Earth, the belief in the flat Earth.
Well, specifically, why the Earth is not.
Yes,
flat.
that specifically, yes, and I actually do want to get into what would happen physics-wise if the Earth were flat.
Ooh, that's exciting. Death, mayhem, no evolution to begin with. Anyway.
Yeah, so that is what we're going to be talking about today.
Cool.
Yeah, so I tell you what, why don't we kind of dive into it? What's everybody drinking? Liz, what are you drinking?
Oh, okay. I am drinking the curvature of alcohol.
We'll explain that later.
Which will get explained. I was going to say explain, but that's not a word. And this drink is brandy, apple whiskey, and cranberry cherry juice.
Yeah, strong. It was a strong drink. The cranberry was added later. Yeah. So to kind of bring it back down. Brandon.
My drink is called I Am Already Angry. And it's water.
Yeah, he goes on assignment tomorrow, so it has to be water for him. And I realize I have my name in here, but I'm going to change it back to the original. The Cliffs of Antarctica.
Ooh.
Yes.
Antarctica.
Yeah, we'll get into that as well. All right, so as always, follow us on all the things. Twitter, which is Drinking Cosmos, and Instagram, Cosmos with Cosmos, and like us on anywhere where you get your podcasts.
Well,
so,
Dee, please like us.
Yes. We need the validation, so follow us and tell your friends and rate us highly. If you don't like us, then just go away.
Jump off the edge of the earth.
Yeah. There's this cliff you can climb, and then you can I forgot what everybody else is drinking. Jack is drinking raspberry dark chocolate latte with homemade honeycomb brittle. When are we gonna have Jack on the podcast?
I just
like
want
in
all of
person,
that.
so he can make our drinks.
That's the
That
key,
sounds
isn't it?
delicious. I mean, I could have made like a hot chocolate with raspberry amaretto.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as I can go.
And your mom's got Earl Grey.
Yep, good. Oh no, I forgot I had makeup on my face and I just rubbed my eye.
Oh no! Podcast ruined.
Oh no!
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, it was a good one, everybody.
I'll hide it with my
Hope
hair.
everybody has enjoyed our podcast.
Oh, this is what happens when I only
What?
wear makeup twice a month.
I'm not saying is Katie. Does Katie have a drink going?
She hasn't said it yet. It's
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Okay. Speaking of Katie, go to Katie's is on
Etsy page.
Etsy page. Yes, Etsy.
Wild
Etsy page.
Ixia, IXIA on Etsy. Find it. She's an amazing artist. Buy all her shit. Pay her bills.
Etsy just completely left my brain,
It's all right.
and I haven't even had a drink yet.
Oh, we can change that.
Yeah. I'll have a drink here in a bit. Also, friend of the podcast, Ron Proctor. Find him on YouTube. His link is
It's in the description.
It's in the description.
We remixed our Hangover theme, so stick around for the Hangover if you want to listen to that. And follow him because he do some cool shit.
Yeah.
Makes cool things.
And as we said last time, we have started a new thing called The Shot.
Oh, so much
Yeah,
fun.
so
much fun.
it really is. We filmed 3 more yesterday, and so I think that gets us to May, June, mid-June.
June. So those come out every other Wednesday on YouTube and any of our podcasting platforms. So,
Excellent.
And in fact, The Shot is the reason why we're having this episode today, because we got a comment.
Oh yes,
Oh,
we
yes,
did.
the
We got a
crazy
comment.
comments.
We got a crazy comment on the first Shot episode that came out, and it was. I think they removed it or it was deleted because it's not showing up. But they referenced the flat Earth, and it was some like conspiracy, like troll kind of comment.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's something. Let's talk about why the Earth isn't flat.
Yep. And before we jump into talking about why the Earth is not flat, a couple rules. As always, anytime a dog barks, one of our little puppies, take a drink. Also, any Star Wars reference, which I think might show up at least once today. And take a drink with that. And any Lord of the Rings reference. Should we throw in like a Game of Thrones reference with the cliffs?
Oh,
of
no.
All right.
No.
All right. So those are our rules. So let's hop into it. First, we need to get into what they actually believe, which is a little more difficult to find than you would think.
There's so many different people that believe in different things. You can't
Yeah, and
narrow down one belief.
but at the heart of it, the Earth is flat.
It's flat.
It is. They believe that it is a disk, and there seems to be pretty much a consensus that that the Arctic, so our North Pole and the real Earth.
I thought it was South Pole. I thought the North Pole was just the center.
The North Pole is the center,
Okay.
and the South Pole is the cliff. It
There
is
you
the
go.
ring at the edge of the. Did I say it wrong? I
Maybe I
probably
jumped the
did.
gun.
But Antarctica. So the Arctic is at the center of this disk, and at the edges of the disk are the cliffs of Antarctica, basically.
Okay, so Antarctica is not just a land mass. It is just a ring of cliffs.
It's a ring of cliffs.
Really.
And
do
that
the
cliffs.
researchers on Antarctica, do they realize
They're
that
not
they're
in-
on a cliff?
they're not
like,
in Antarctica.
hanging out? Oh, they're not.
That's a
okay.
ruse.
All right. Oh boy.
Here's the thing. So those walls, the walls of Antarctica, you want to know how tall they are?
6 feet?
150 feet.
Oh, that's it.
That's all, 150 feet.
That's climbable.
That is a
Yeah.
15-story building.
Oh yeah. Just get some ice spikes. Go
Yeah.
on right on up them.
Yeah. Or, I don't know, get in a plane.
Yeah. Why don't we have pictures of this?
How far? Okay.
All right. We're already. We got a
How far
structure.
does Earth's atmosphere go beyond these walls? Like, if you just go out, like suddenly in space, does it extend, or how?
I'm thinking that I don't know. I couldn't
Here's
find
what I
anything
imagine.
about that.
Jack in the comments, he brought up the Great British Baking Show being an inspiration for his honeycomb that he's made for his drink.
Okay.
And so in there, there's like challenges where they can make like a clear sugar dome over like something.
Yes.
And so that's what I imagine. That it's just like a clear dome over a flat Earth surface.
Okay, so that's the general layout. What else they got going on?
Okay, so the sun and the moon are both 32 miles across and orbit the North Pole.
What?
And the moon itself is also self-illuminating and somewhat semi-transparent. So question number one is, how do you get fucking phases when it is self-illuminating?
Hold on. I feel like there's so much to unpack here. Before we even get to moon phases and eclipses and shit. First of all, 32 miles wide.
32 miles wide.
32 miles wide
Okay.
for both of them.
Okay.
And
Both
they
of them.
orbit the North Pole, so shouldn't they be above us all the time?
And are all
visible?
stars 32 miles across? Or
How
do
do
they
they-
have
how do
separate
they-
spheres?
how-
Oh, they don't talk about that. They just talk about that the stars are a few hundred miles above the flat Earth. There's going to be a lot to unpack to all of this.
Angry.
How are they? What is their basis of measurement of how they
Oh,
measured
they
this?
don't have anything. They don't have any measurements. But and the measurements that they have are all friggin' wrong.
Okay, so let's briefly then delve into the sun is how many actual miles wide?
More than 32.
More than 32. You could fit 1 million Earths inside of the sun.
Well, you can stack them because they're flat, so it's easy.
Then it's like infinite amount.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we actually get the size of the sun? How do we, in reality, in science, measure the size of the sun? What do we calculate?
Well, I mean, we know how far away it is,
Mm-hmm.
and so you can just do a little bit of trigonometry. You know how big it is in our sky, and so a little bit of trigonometry will tell you how wide it is.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
Trig.
32.
yeah. I don't know what vor.red is.
Oh,
but
it's just a fucking Russian like bot thing.
And
fuck Russia.
I want to know what made them choose 32, like exactly 32 miles, not 32.18, not 42, 32.
Well, it's an even number.
It is even. They should have gone with 42.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
If you're going to make up numbers, make up fun numbers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is all based on something that was written in the 1800s.
Because we knew a lot in the 1800s.
Yeah, there was this dude who
Oh,
wrote the Zetetic astronomy book. So you have the scientific method and you have the Zetetic method, which I really couldn't find.
From what I saw about it, it's less about observational data. It's more about how do you feel about this? Do you think it's right? Probably not. So it must be wrong.
Okay, so...
Yeah, but most of the stuff I saw about it was like it's very circular logic
Yeah.
type of thing. And so, but anyway, the fun thing for me is gravity does not exist.
Oh, we've had
And a
fun with
flat
this.
Earth.
We've had fun with this one.
Gravity doesn't exist.
So gravity doesn't
doesn't exist.
exist, and I drop my phone, and it falls. Why is it falling with no gravity, Mike?
Well, they say density and buoyancy. So
I'm already angry.
you drop your phone, right?
Yeah.
It is more dense than air, and so it will fall,
But if it's more,
and the air will rise because it's more buoyant.
so can I like push my phone off in the distance, and it would just like with no friction just keep going?
Oh, but there is friction because of the atmosphere, because of the air.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, they don't say that there's no friction. They just say there's no gravity. But you throw a ball up and it goes up, but then it comes back down. We can jump up and all this kind of stuff. And so there's actually a debate, it seems, in the Flat Earth Society.
Oh, they're debating amongst themselves.
Yeah, they're all
That's
stupid.
fun.
But anyway, so there are some that say that there's no gravity. There's others that say there's magnets or something, which I really didn't have time to look
We
into
don't know
because
how magnets work.
it made my head hurt. Just thinking about it. But then there's also those that say that the whole disk, and I guess it's everything, is moving up at 32 feet per second.
32 again.
Squared, yeah. Okay, yeah, but or 9.8 meters per second. So that allows me to do a little bit of a calculation.
Okay.
So let's assume that the podcast and the hangover is 2 hours long.
Okay.
That means the flat Earth is going to add something like 157,000 miles per hour to the speed that it already had.
How old is
And
the
that's
Earth in your
every
mind?
2 hours. Well, the thing is like a lot of these people believe that the Earth is a young Earth. But even still,
my God.
even if it's 6,000 years old, that's a lot of speed that you're adding because you're adding 157,000 miles per hour in 2 hours. At what point does relativity take over? But I'm sure that they're like, relativity doesn't exist.
This begs the question in my mind. I'm sure we're going to get to this later, but how does a flat planet form?
Okay, no, you're way off. You're that's.
It doesn't. It can't.
You just went off on totally different.
No, I know, but it just thought if it's 6,000 years old, how to form.
I'm
We'll
still
get
on
there.
the
We'll get
fucking
there.
Earth elevator action here.
None of this makes sense.
So
I'm angry.
I just want to know how far away are the stars? Are the stars also moving
Yeah,
up
it's
at
the only
same
way.
rate, so we don't collide with
Yeah,
them.
because
on
they're
our
saying
elevator to nowhere.
Yeah, they're saying it's 150. Oh, it's a few hundred miles above us.
And if we're accelerating, constantly accelerating, why don't we feel the force of that acceleration on us?
You do. It's gravity.
It's gravity.
You're feeling it as gravity.
Yeah.
That's how they're explaining gravity.
Okay.
How do they? How do they explain the redshift and blue shift in the stars and galaxies?
I think. Okay,
I-
let's focus.
I need to know
Focus
these
on-
things.
Well, okay, everything. Okay, well, that actually would be
When you think about it more, it just breaks down.
yeah, because everything has to be moving up, right? And so everything above us would be blue shifted because we're heading towards it, and everything below us. If you could go to the wall and look below us,
But there's nothing. What about Andromeda? How do you explain that? I'm so confused.
yeah. Well, Andromeda actually is blue shifted towards us
Right.
anyway in the real universe
So
because it
if
is
you-
actually
But it
heading
shouldn't be
towards.
moving up at the same rate as everything
It
else?
should,
If
but
you jump.
Uh,
Okay. Anyway.
we're breaking
So-
heads right now.
all right. So here's what they think
All right.
Okay.
with the jump.
Uh huh.
Okay, so you jump off the surface of the Earth. Well, you basically stop, and the Earth
Catches
will
up to you?
actually catch up to you.
What?
So that actually is something that I do remember from a long time ago that they believe. So it is if you jump, you're jumping off the surface of the Earth, and you actually go up, you stop, and the Earth will actually catch up with you because it's accelerating towards you.
Yeah.
And that
This
is how they explain you
is-
falling back down to
But,
the Earth.
but like, what's the normal physics of if you jump and something is accelerating towards
Like an
you?
elevator?
Well, the thing is in normal physics, in true physics, you jump up, and that force that your legs impart upon your body to make you jump up, you jump up and you lose speed because of gravity of the Earth pulling down on you, and then you fall back
no,
down.
I mean like if you jump and there's something that's traveling whatever the acceleration
like
rate
an
of the Earth
elevator,
is
yeah.
towards you, and you jump up, like is it? Because it's still it's accelerating faster than you jump, so you're gonna it's gonna not be nice.
Oh no, it'll be fine.
Oh,
because
okay.
you have to remember that. Okay, so at the time you jump, your speed is equal to whatever the speed of this Earth disk is, and so you jump up, and in that like 1 or 2 seconds, it's only adding 9.8 meters, 32 meters, 32 feet. So it's manageable.
Okay, it's manageable.
It's
All right.
manageable.
Jack says the old school Hindu idea is that disc is balanced on 4 giant elephants riding the back of a tortoise. The tortoise has the gravity we feel because we are close by. Turtles all the way down.
It's turtles all the way down. Oh yes, so that's the story, right? So who was it? I have his book, Bertrand Russell. A basically a science philosopher, scientist. Just like 100 years ago, was giving a talk in England about the universe, and this lady came up to him at the end of the talk.
Okay.
And she was like, I'm sorry, but you're all wrong. And things have not changed. But anyway, so I'm sorry,
Is this more of a
Mr.
comment
Russell.
than a question?
I know that you have spent years studying the universe, and you have many more degrees than I do because I didn't get out of kindergarten. But anyway, the Earth is flat, and it is on the back of a tortoise and a turtle. And Bertrand Russell was like, so what is the tortoise standing on? And the lady thought for a minute, and she said it's tortoises all the way down. So
It's just infinite tortoises.
it's just infinite tortoises. And so it, true story, maybe. I don't know. But
Infinitort.
oh, Infinitort. I like that. It's actually pretty good. So, I mean, as you can see, it's really quite messed up. And a lot of these people that believe in the flat Earth are really conspiracy theorist kind of people.
That's a whole other rabbit hole.
It's like they just want to
The
stand
moon-
down, be part of something different, and ignore all logic and reason just to feel like they're a part of
I-
something that's
you know-
unique
There's a
and,
lot that goes into it.
also slightly crazy.
I was thinking about that earlier, and that's exactly what I came up with. Is they want to belong, and I think they also want to be a little bit contrarian, a little bit.
And a lot of these people, of course, they want to belong, but by believing in flat Earth or the other conspiracies, a lot of times they become ostracized from the group they belong to, and then have to go in with this conspiracy theorist, which then breeds more conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So I mean, it really is an insane thing. But I do want to return because I did 2 calculations today.
Oh yes.
He
First
gets
of all,
excited to do math.
I do like doing
Nerd.
Earlier this week, I created a JavaScript that would calculate how many Skittles could fill like a star. And I was really excited about it. And I let both of them know. And the first thing that he says to me is, nerd. That's like the nerdiest project you've done all week. But I was really excited about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the first calculation was how much velocity was going to be added to 157,000 miles
Earth
per hour.
elevator. All right.
But the other one that I was very interested in was how many Saturn V rockets would you need to propel the Earth up, the flat Earth, the pizza Earth, at 9.8 meters per second, or 30 per second squared, or 32 feet per second squared, and create the gravity that we feel. And it would have to be a sustained force of 1.7 million trillion Saturn V rockets.
There's a really
I didn't know tortoises had that much power.
tortoise farts.
I was about ready to
Then
say.
we wouldn't go up though. We'd be going that way.
That's true.
We'd be going sideways.
Maybe they're like this. Their butts are down and they're like this. They're
just
standing on
they're
each other.
standing on each other,
There's-
like
Newton said, "I stand
2
on the
legs.
shoulder of giants." So
we
maybe
stand on the
these
shoulders
tortoises
of
are like, "I
tortoise.
stand on the
That's what it was.
shoulders
okay.
of giants."
That's-
Now, in Elden Ring, there are
No.
tortoises.
That's a lot of energy that needs to
Well, this is
generate
sustained.
flat Earth gravity.
This is sustained.
Yeah.
But in order
But
for
then
that to
everything
happen,
else is also
they
doing
have-
the same.
they call it something called dark energy that they claim is propelling the Earth up. So not a trillion billion rockets, but dark energy, which is not what dark energy is. But
They don't know what dark energy is either. But I am sure that in, 1998, when they announced the discovery of dark energy, they lost their shit. And they were like, oh, this is the one time NASA actually, they probably like NASA messed up and gave the truth out that there's this thing called dark energy that's propelling the Earth up. See, told you.
So, okay. We're in the year 2021.
No one knows.
2022.
We're in the year 2022.
You can fix that in post.
We'll fix it in post. Sorry.
Why don't we have any visual evidence of said flat Earth in the Great Antarctic Wall?
We do, but the man's keeping it down.
Yeah, there you go.
Why don't?
Conspiracy theories.
But I'm sure if it's only 150 feet, it doesn't take. Anybody could maybe put a weather balloon up or whatever.
But have you been there?
And
if you were there, I wouldn't
with
trust
a
you anyway.
camera that
I know,
could
right?
then see clearly that the Earth's not.
But they. All right.
I mean, take a boat with a Kodak camera.
I know, right? A Kodak camera.
I mean, like a disposable, I was thinking of disposable
you mean
cameras.
a phone? Take a phone. But anyway.
I don't know. There's cell service
no,
out by the wall.
No, I don't trust pixels.
Okay. To some of their credit. To some of their credit. They will get on a plane and they will do this little experiment with like a digital leveler. What do we call those things that like we want to put it on our at least I want to put it on our Orion Nebula picture to make sure it's level.
A level?
A level.
Yes.
That's what it is. A leveler. So so they'll get on a plane and they'll say, oh, it stayed level the whole flight. Therefore, the Earth is flat. Or they will look out their window. You can do this tomorrow. And look out their window and go, hey, I see no curvature on the Earth, so it must be flat. And so, I mean, to their credit, they're doing some experiments, but they're doing it wrong.
Why wouldn't the plane fly flat? Like, it's not...
Yeah. So, but what they're saying is that as the plane goes over the surface of the Earth, that if it follows the curve, that it will not be level.
Isn't that big to follow the curve?
But that's
you
not
have to adjust for curvature.
No, but actually, flying from Utah to the East Coast, you're going to experience some curvature of the Earth. However, with gravity, though, it's pulling on that level, and it is always going to appear level because you're always level to the surface of the Earth beneath you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going like this.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The plane going like this is not a good thing.
That's what I'm meaning. Like, they're not like, it's not like you're going to feel like that because you're always going to be just...
Yeah. Brandon in the Zoom call has raised his hand.
Thank you, Mike.
Brandon.
I just have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
If the Earth is being propelled upwards at 32 feet per second, how do planes work?
They don't. I mean, if you jump up, and the Earth just kind of meets you, when the plane goes up, the Earth should meet the plane.
Yeah.
There should be just constant crashes.
Yeah, because the plane's constantly trying to outfly the Earth.
Yeah, it's... But anyway, okay, your mom asked a question. Oh, has anyone claimed to reach the edge of the disk? Well, the thing is they have some of these guys want to fund an expedition to the wall in Antarctica. I don't know why they haven't done it yet, but they want to do it, but nobody seems to ever do it. And let's just be honest, they all know the Earth's round.
I don't think they do.
Just a side note, I would encourage everyone to read a book called Endurance about Ernest Shackleton's voyage to Antarctica. They just found Ernest Shackleton's ship
nice.
in the Antarctic waters, which is super cool, and it's well preserved and still says Endurance, and that book is really interesting.
I'd also recommend reading Red Mars.
But apparently it never happened because there is no Antarctica. It's just a wall.
It's just a wall of ice.
Wait. Is there like a land mass, like a little land and then a wall? Or it's just ocean and then a wall?
I think it's like maybe a little bit of land because, all right, so here's the thing.
How do they define, what are penguins then? Do they exist?
What are penguins?
So there's a little bit of land and then it goes up. All right, so...
Not the penguins.
All right, so you have Australia. So here's a thought. So you have Australia.
They're not even upside down anymore because it's fucking flat. Oh my god.
You have Australia, and then on the other side of the Earth, but on Antarctica, you have a research station. Marudo.
Macaroon, something like that. Yeah.
What is it?
Macaroon Station.
Macaroon. All right, we're gonna call it Macaroon, but it's Macarudo. It's something like that. So this is actually technically on the other side of the Earth, but on this in the southern hemisphere from Australia. So the quickest route in the real world is to fly from Australia down to that. It's kind of a straight line. All right, so in this McMurdo. So in this flat Earth universe, Earth, whatever you want, it is alternate universe. The quickest way is to fly from Australia over the North Pole down to McMurdo.
That would take like 80 hours.
But in the flat Earth, it's the quickest way. Instead of going,
you
what
don't
is
have
it?
to go up and around. You just...
Yeah. Instead of going all the way around the edge of this wall.
It's only 150 feet high. Just
no,
go
right.
over it, man.
It's actually quicker to go over the North Pole of the Earth in this flat Earth universe.
Everything hurts.
It does. You know what is really sad about America? This is America we're talking about.
No,
this
is America.
America. This is America. This is not America. This is America. 1% of Americans believe this shit. And then you have an additional 6% that just aren't sure.
To be fair, at least 6% of Americans are under the age of 5.
Yeah, who are they polling in these stats?
So,
I want to know the.
I do think.
I want to know the age ranges
the polling of adults.
Survey.
And you know what actually is really, sad, also adds to the sadness for me.
They're missing out on so much beauty of science and truth.
Way to pile it on, is that when this was done in 2017, this poll, there was no significant difference between Hillary Clinton voters and Donald Trump voters. It is not a red versus blue thing.
No.
It's an ignorance thing.
If you want another book to read, it's called Demon Haunted World by Carl Sagan. It's very...
that sounds...
Yeah, no, it's very... It's his last book. He got kind of angry and old at this point. So he was like, everything's dumb, everything's stupid, because no one can think correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, and the internet is simultaneously a beautiful thing and also the worst thing ever
As we're on it.
in the universe. No, I completely understand the irony of me saying this. But it allows the dissemination of this, and for people around the world so like we watched this thing
across the world.
Across the world, exactly, across the world, across the pizza. I want pizza now. But anyway, we watched this thing on YouTube. We only watched 2 videos because I think that really was all we could take. But and the total time for the 2 was something like 15 minutes. But the first one was about a conference in North Carolina, the Flat Earth Conference, and a guy from New Zealand was there, and it's like you flew literally halfway around the world.
How they explain seasons and why it's day and night in different places?
They
and sunsets.
don't.
What the?
They can't. That's the thing. Okay, so let's get into seasons. Okay, so
seasons. It's winter now.
Season 1's the best. Usually.
Oh, jeez. Let's get into seasons and let's get into the moon. Let's start with the moon. Okay, so the sun and the moon go around the North Pole.
Yes.
In this
That's just
weird fucking
which
setup.
Would just be
wait.
above. I don't. Okay.
Go ahead.
I always thought in this concept that they would orbit the flatness of
No,
the Earth. And
they are in a ring above us.
All the time.
They are in a ring above us.
It should always be daytime.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, this is what they say. They say that the sun is not a point light. And if it's a point light in the real universe, it's sending light out in all directions. And so in that particular case, it would be daylight all the time for us. Okay? Now, but what they say is it's more of a spotlight that's kind of aimed down, and that's why you get daytime and nighttime. All right. The problem is that with a flat Earth, we should be able to see the moon no matter what phase the moon is in at some point, because the Earth's flat, right? We actually should be able to, if we had a telescope strong enough and we were to go to the top of the mountains, the tallest mountain, Mount Everest, we should be able to point that telescope at the cliffs of Antarctica and be able to see those cliffs.
Yeah.
We haven't done that. I mean, we're not going to do that.
Because they're...
You can't do it.
Yeah.
But hold on. So here's the interesting thing about the moon. So as the moon goes around the Earth, we know the moon is tidally locked to the Earth. So the same side of the moon always faces the Earth. If these two guys are, well, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're a couple hundred miles above us, then as the moon is going around, we actually should be able to see some of the far side of the moon, depending on where it is. And so it would not appear tidally locked to us.
But let me just also clarify, in this weird scenario of the universe, the sun and the moon are spherical.
But it's
everything else is spherical.
Mars is spherical.
Everything else is spherical except the Earth.
That's because we're special with the center of the
Pluto,
galaxy.
spherical.
Spherical, yes. I don't think at least anything that I've read, I don't think that they have actually explained seasons.
Okay.
Because I don't think they can, actually. But
how do they explain tides?
Well, first of all, let's just talk about for a second my drink, the curvature of alcohol. I would like to point out here my glass. That the podcast listeners can't see is it's like a stemless wine glass. So it is curved at the bottom.
Yes.
It is rounded. Notice that the alcohol conforms to the curvature of my glass. But according to flat earthers, water can't curve.
That is true. That is true. That is actually one of the things that we found in the research for this, right? Is that they can't. But if you look at the dew droplets on a leaf early in the morning, what are they? They're little tiny spheres.
Spherical.
I just have more questions.
Ask them.
How do you explain northern lights if you don't have a magnetic field? How do you explain a magnetic field?
Hold on. No, okay. They, all right. So magnetic fields that are very, okay, two things. Some of them do say that there are magnets, I guess, is holding everything down, which would explain the magnetic field.
Are they like Wile E. Coyote horseshoe magnets?
Oh, yeah.
No, they're probably bar magnets. So you have a definite north pole that comes out of the bar, and if they're all oriented the same way, then you have a north pole. But here's my question. And they're all, the North Poles are all oriented towards the North Pole, the Arctic. So here's my question. If you look at if you look, that's actually pretty good. If you look at the historical record, geological historical record of the Earth, you can actually see that the magnetic field flips.
Yeah.
And so, who's in charge of flipping all these magnets?
Aliens. It's dominoes. It's a dominoes.
Yeah. Okay, so at Arizona Science Center, remember the little magnet thing that we had that would do the iron filings? You could change the magnets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, I guess. It's so somebody pushes a button and they flip.
How did these magnets appear? And
Jesus put them there.
Okay. The tortoise has magnetic personality. Jack.
So
I have another question.
I would think that.
Hold on. If the tortoise is a rockin', don't come a knockin'.
Nice.
Courtesy of Chad in the comments.
In this view of the universe, I would say probably that the northern and southern lights are aurora, and seasons are impossible.
They're just it's just your neurons firing
Okay.
and you're hallucinating.
Another question for this is what this is now. It's Q&A.
Because of the gays.
Hey,
Excellent.
don't say gay.
Oh.
Don't say gay in this podcast.
How do you explain continental drift? Like, can the continent go over the edge?
Well, the universe is only 6,000 years old, so there hasn't been much
earthquakes
movement.
are not real.
Okay. How do they explain GPS?
They can't. They can't. A GPS is you need two things. You need a spherical body and you need the general theory of relativity. You can't explain it with the flat Earth
I
society.
wonder how many flat earthers have like
Use
a
their
Garmin
phones,
or like
Google Maps.
Uh,
All of them use
Use
Google Maps.
Have a cell phone.
Another question.
Uh-huh.
How do you explain the warming of the Earth through the core? Like, the core is heating the Earth up in its way, and it doesn't have a core.
There is no core.
But how...
Volcanoes. How do they work?
All right, here. Actually, you know what? So for these people that that believe that the Earth is rocketing up, it's just moving up. So by this definition of how the universe works, the gravitational acceleration at the top of Mount Everest should be the exact same as the gravitational acceleration of sea level.
Mm-hmm.
And every experiment that we have done has found that not to be true.
But you can't trust those experiments.
No.
They're done
That's
by the
true.
man.
True.
Scientists. Scientism.
So what you're saying is it's conspiracy theories all the way down.
I'm so angry.
Okay. I'm looking forward to
This is like talking to my
what
uncle
if,
on Thanksgiving.
what if we lived on a flat Earth? Like what's the?
I think we need to wait until the Hangover
You
for
want
that.
to talk about that in the Hangover?
I want to talk about that in the Hangover. I want to talk about it because there's some really interesting things that happen if you are,
if you're living on a flat Earth.
If you're living
this
on a flat Stanley Earth,
volcanoes are because tortoises ate spicy food.
But I thought that's where we got the acceleration from.
It comes out both ends.
Okay.
farts and acid reflux.
Oh, I feel them pills.
Yeah, so I really do think that just contemplating the physics of what a flat Earth world looks like, we'll have it really quite figured out in 5 minutes. But
yeah, you're really leaving us on the cliffhanger.
So you have questions? Do you have questions? Do you have questions?
Oh my
Everybody has
God! All
questions.
the questions. Look, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but it doesn't make you right.
It doesn't make it true.
Especially when there's overwhelming evidence to the contrary of your beliefs.
Yeah, and you know what drives me insane is so and again, like I said, some of these people are coming at it, whether they want to admit it or not, from a scientific method point of view, where they want to test things. And so, bully for you, that's great. The thing is, though, is if they don't get the answer they want, then they just throw it out. For example, they got somebody got their hands on a ring laser gyroscope.
That sounds cool. What?
Yeah, so basically you got two lasers pointed in opposite directions, and you look at the interference, and if you get an interference pattern, that means that whatever that laser is on is rotating.
Ooh.
Yeah, so what they like to say is the flat Earth does not rotate.
Right.
And so, but the spherical Earth does rotate.
Yes.
Because the day and night.
Daytime and nighttime.
Day and night come about because the sun is going around the North Pole, right?
Oh, right.
And so the Earth is not really rotating; it's stationary.
Okay.
Unless it's moving up to make gravity. But anyway, and so what they found was with this ring laser gyroscope was that whatever it was on,
was rotating?
the Earth was rotating, but not only that, it was rotating at 15 degrees per hour, which is exactly how fast the Earth rotates.
And they were just like...
They threw it out. They
I don't
actually
like this.
said
Get out of here.
they
It's
said
broken.
yep, they said it was inconclusive. Yep. They said
That's what oil companies say about climate change.
yeah, what they said was they said that the reason why it was rotating is because the firmament, quote unquote, the firmament was rotating. And it's just like, so the firmament
What's
is
the
the Earth.
firmament?
What?
It's the Earth.
Unrelated. Why
It's
is
all related.
NASA spending so much money on rockets when you could just push a payload off the edge of the world and go in space?
You gotta climb that wall.
150 feet, man.
Gotta climb the wall.
Jack says, working with conspiracy students, he convinced a bunch of anti-masker students to wear masks by saying it keeps deep thought facial recognition from tracking them.
Oh, that is good.
Brilliant.
That
yes,
is
in the words
good.
of my mom, brilliant. Well done, Jack. Thank you for your service.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That was almost the cliffs of Antarctica all over our microphone. Yeah, so really, I mean, it's a rabbit hole.
It's
There's-
rabbits all the way down.
It is
They
rabbits,
said
tortoises.
the rabbit voices.
Rabbits and suspicious pieces of things you should not consume.
Yeah, it is.
Alice in Wonderland, you know, like the little
Took me
things
a
that
second.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So basically, none of this is correct.
No, it's not. We
Oh,
have
think
pictures.
Think of the penguins.
Think of the penguins.
Yeah, so
Anything, think of the penguins.
here's the thing. I think that we need more science education because I have to be honest, 7% of American adults is too much. And we're not even getting into the whole idea of pandemic stuff. We're not even getting into that.
Sadly, they're related, but hey.
I just
Yeah.
thought of another question. All right.
All right, no, ask the question. What's the
No,
question?
we can go into the hangover.
What's the
and we can
question?
get it. It was like, what about like the equator and shit?
What about the equation?
Is
Oh,
it-
no,
we're
okay.
all on the same.
No. The equator is. They have an equator.
So
They have an
so the
equator.
spotlight of the Earth has limited distance range, but it's focused on the equator. That's why it's hotter.
Pretty
there.
much, and going around.
How do they explain comet and supernovae?
Well, they don't. Well, you know what is it like?
Why is everything else spherical? I can't.
400
why?
years ago.
All right.
400 years ago, wasn't it that Tycho's comet broke through the glass spheres?
Menagerie?
Well, I was gonna say spheres. I did say spheres, but okay, menagerie. All right. So anyway, let's get into the physics of the universe. If the Earth were flat,
Yes, but
and
we-
let's do that in the
In
hangover.
the hangover. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So everybody, thanks for joining us.
The conclusion I think we've reached is the Earth is spherical and
It is
not
spherical.
flat by overwhelming scientific, observable, objective
boy.
evidence.
And you know what? Astronauts have pictures of it. I know it's the man, but the astronauts have pictures of the Earth, the curvature of the Earth. So the Earth is not flat. It is round. And to be honest, I wouldn't even engage these people.
Yeah.
You're not
You're not making any headway.
It's like religion.
It's like 9 when you debated Ken Ham.
Yeah.
You're not making any headway.
Yeah, you're not changing anybody's mind.
No.
They're gonna believe it anyway. But just know that it's not real, and just feel pity for them because you know in your heart that they need more science education.
That you at least have a basic understanding of science with the Earth being round.
And you probably eat less crayons.
So in a couple of weeks, we're taking Cosmos with Cosmos on the road.
Yes.
Oh.
We're gonna do it in Bend, Oregon. We're on tour.
Tour.
It's a one city tour.
Live studio audience? No.
we will have a live studio audience, and they don't know it. But we're gonna get a bunch of questions from Podcast Mom.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, I'm saying it right now, and at least that'll be maybe the hangover.
Maybe. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, she doesn't know this yet.
She doesn't know this
Surprise.
yet, but she has 2 weeks to prepare. That Podcast Mom is going to join us for the hangover. She can join us for the actual podcast if she wants, but she'll be joining us, and that should be fun.
That'll be fun.
Because you know what? In all honesty, truthfulness, she asked the best questions.
She does have good questions.
And I do think that it would be just beautiful for her to ask us just questions for like an hour.
Yeah, it would be great.
I'll have a joke, but I'll wait for it afterwards.
All right.
All right. So,
Go ahead.
no, take us out.
I was just going to say thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And until then, everybody stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay round.
And stay round.
Stay
I'm very round.
Stay
I'm a little too round.
everybody.
I want to be a little more flat. But all right, cheers, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.
All right, for those of you on YouTube, stick around. We'll be back for The Hangover, and we're just going to take a quick break right now, so we'll see you in a minute.
We should read
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to The Hangover. The Hangout. Welcome to The Hangout.
The Hangout, yep. And this is where we're going to discuss tutorials on character building in Elden Ring. Of course, we have the hero build. We have the astrology
You got the
build.
wretch.
We have the wretch, of course.
Probably want to avoid the wretch.
We're going to find out about that today.
I would like to point out Jack's comment. So on the Be Right Back video, he didn't see the Antarctic wall and he's disappointed, right?
Because there's no fucking wall.
Because that video wasn't real. It was a government conspiracy. What depicted astronauts in space are really actors on a green screen.
Come on, Jack. You need to open your mind, man. You need to open your mind and...
Just do your own research, you know?
Yeah, I know.
We're just asking questions here. Oh, my God.
Find it on WebMD.
All right. So, before we get into some questions, why don't we actually talk about what the universe would be like? What the world would be like if the world was flat.
Earth would be like?
Yep, what living on Earth would be. So what is the physics?
Can that structure even exist?
No, it cannot. No, it cannot. But, we won't really get in. Maybe we will. But we won't really get into that at first. But, one of the really interesting things that you would have would be sideways rain.
Sideways rain.
Yeah, and
but sometimes
I thought
rain.
about doing it in my best Forrest Gump, which I can't do. I don't have sideways rain.
That was pretty good.
There was sideways rain, upside down rain. But anyway, so when you have a disc, the center of gravity is at the center of the disc. So we are about 45 degrees out from the center of that disc. We're a little less than that, but like 40 degrees.
Okay.
But and so we are actually feeling, us here in Utah, are feeling not only a force of gravity down, but if it was a disc, we would be feeling a force of gravity towards the North Pole. So,
but why?
From our perspective right now, the way we're sitting in this, to the right, we would have a pull to the right because north is to our right.
But why do we have gravity towards the North Pole on a flat Earth?
Because that is where the center of mass is. And so for Newtonian physics...
Wait, do flat earthers know about the center of mass?
Flat earthers don't know about shit. Let's just be honest.
Sorry.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
Just looking at gravity alone, the center of mass for this disk is, and therefore the center of gravity, assuming, constant density, uniform density.
And buoyancy.
Yes.
Because those are forces.
The center of gravity is at the North Pole because that's the center of the disk. So that is where you had to pull. So what's going to happen? Your air, which is very mobile and fluid, is going to move towards the North Pole. The water is going to. It really acts under the force of gravity, and it's going to move towards the center of gravity, which is at the North Pole. So the fact the North Pole should be completely flooded. There isn't any land at the North Pole.
Water finds its own level.
Yes.
Maybe that's why the North Pole's disappearing, because the water's all going up there.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though,
time.
is you should not have any water at the Antarctic cliff wall either, because that water should be all pulled towards the center.
What if? Now I'm just trying to help out flat earthers here. What
Is that
if?
what you're doing?
Yes. What if, of course, because everything's being poured towards the center, but beyond the walls, there's actually a much larger plane, much larger flat Earth. So that way, we are actually at the center still of this huge plane of flat
Okay,
Earth.
now that is different though, because then at that point, it is the gravity. You don't have, wherever you're at, you are feeling a gravitational pull to your right, left, front, back. It's all equal. It all cancels out, and the only gravity you feel is gravity down. But you need an infinite plane for that to happen.
Logically, it makes sense.
Yeah. So do they have they haven't seen this wall or been beyond the disk of the Earth, but how far could it extend? Do they have a limit to its extent, or they're like, no, the wall's
Interestingly enough,
length of my imagination.
The guy who came up with this in 1800s believed it was infinite.
Oh.
He believed that you did have that wall, but beyond that was an ocean. So that the piece of Earth is floating on this ocean, infinite ocean. And that actually, if they had just kept it at that, it would explain the downward force. But in the 1950s, they were like, no, it is just a disk, a not infinite disk. So the modern flat Earth idea,
okay,
is that it's
the progressive flat Earth idea.
Yeah, the progressive, and so that means that sideways rain, when it does rain, for us it always comes straight down, right? Unless it's windy.
Sideways, yes.
Unless it's windy. But even like on a windless, rainy day, it would come down. It wouldn't come down. It would fall from the cloud, feel the force of gravity.
You should always get sideways rain when you're not at the North Pole.
Right. And
on a flat Earth.
The further you are away from the North Pole, the stronger that sideways rain
could kill you.
It could kill you. And not only that, so if the rain is sideways, that means that if you are in New Zealand, at the southern tip of New Zealand, then you do not stand upright. You have to stand pretty much at an angle.
That would affect the entire evolution of the human body.
Explain kangaroos, though.
Does it?
No, it would. It would.
Oh, but only kangaroos.
No, what were you going to say?
How do they explain hurricanes?
Oh! I was about ready to go into that.
Okay, sweet.
Thank you for the segue.
Nice.
In the flat Earth society world, in the flat Earth world, hurricanes should not exist. They are impossible.
But they happen, and we've seen them, and
it is conspiracy theory. So, in the northern hemisphere, anytime that you have a low pressure system,
Florida.
What's a hemisphere?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know, right?
Wait.
No, okay, in the real world.
Toilets?
I just thought, but the southern and northern hemisphere stars we can see. Why can't we see the southern hemisphere stars? Oh, no. I'm breaking.
Well, that's what did it for you?
No, actually, we should be able to. We'll get to the hurricanes. You should be able to see the southern stars. From here in Utah. In fact, here in Utah, since we are a higher elevation than say Phoenix,
we should be able to see a lot on our.
We should be
horizon.
able to. We really should be able to see the. Large and small magellanic clouds.
Yeah,
I've never seen them. I would love to see them. Never seen them.
New Zealand.
It was cloudy the whole time.
Okay. Sorry.
It was cloudy.
Right.
I was very disappointed. So hurricanes.
Sorry, Brandon.
So anytime you have a low pressure system and the winds start going and they're like internal winds, they will become circular winds and you get tornadoes and you get larger systems, you get hurricanes. For us here in the northern hemisphere in the real world, those winds will rotate counterclockwise. But if you were to go down to the southern hemisphere, they rotate clockwise. Oh. And it's all due to the Coriolis effect, which is the Earth spinning, and it's the physics
Earth
of it.
Spins. It rotates.
It rotates. So in the flat Earth world, flat Earth universe, hurricanes should not exist. And what is interesting is that when you look at hurricanes, you have the equator, right? Mm-hmm. So about 5 degrees above and 5 degrees below, it's impossible to have hurricanes. Because the Coriolis effect really does not exist that much there. In the real world.
You can't.
So in the flat Earth, you should not have
any hurricanes
at all. But clearly we do. I mean, we see
Florida and Louisiana.
And Hawaii.
The whole Gulf Coast.
Typhoons.
Yeah.
Just tearing everything up, and Now you like for New Zealand, because we mentioned that earlier. Now they have concerns. Typically, hurricanes don't go that far south, but because of climate change, they're starting to see some of them go pretty close to New Zealand. And yeah, I mean, it's just it is an insane, absolutely insane thing. Oh, gotta take a drink.
Whoa, we got our first dog bark.
My mind's broken.
Yeah, it's... And we should talk about eclipses.
Well, let's talk about eclipses, but Jack asks, do the sun and moon move in a system like a giant spirograph since the sun takes different paths? Yeah, the sun and moon, they don't run into each other.
No, they don't. So I couldn't find anything.
I guess they just, maybe one's like closer to the...
Yeah, so I never saw anything about...
That explains
They explain how the sun and moon, as if they are a tandem, goes around the North Pole. So what I'm thinking is that what they believe is that the sun actually goes around the North Pole and the moon maybe goes around the sun.
But then...
What keeps them there?
Dark magic.
Elden Ring
it's a big mobile. It's a big mobile. Like you put over like a baby's crib. It's a big mobile.
Okay.
Did the dog bark again?
Yes. All right. Eclipses. How do they work?
Well, they shouldn't fucking work in a flat Earth world. So we're on this flat Earth, pizza Earth, looking at a 32-mile wide.
The sun and the moon are on the same plane. So...
They're on the same plane, so they're actually should never be an eclipse.
Yeah, because an eclipse is due to
ever
the alignment of the Earth, Sun, and Moon.
But there are eclipses.
There are eclipses. So what they did
physically.
What they did was they invented a thing called the anti-moon.
You can just make up moons?
They can make up moons.
You just make shit up.
There's not a lot of information on the anti-moon. Yeah, except it is responsible for the eclipses.
But what is it?
It is the anti-moon.
Is it like a light and dark situation,
Yeah, and I guess depending on whatever's going on, whatever mood it's in, it decides to make either a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse. So it is this...
My God, what's happening outside?
Jack's barking at a dog.
Oh. My mom says earthquakes are turtle sneezes. That's actually adorable.
Oh, I thought you hit drink again. Yeah, it is actually adorable.
I turned it off for the next time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this thing called the anti-moon is what is responsible for the eclipses. Okay,
this
at some
counts
point.
As one. You can't. It's the same barking scenario.
So is antipasta like eclipsing pasta?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's exactly what it is in this world.
It eclipses the main dinner.
But you know what's really interesting is that so to have an eclipse, all right, if the Earth is flat, what would an eclipse look like?
Yes.
So if the Earth is flat and the Earth actually passed between
that's Leia's. You can tell Leia's
the sun and the moon. There would be a flat line that goes across the moon.
Okay.
But what do we see? We don't see a flat line. We see a curved. The Earth's shadow on the moon is curved.
Yeah.
Which means the Earth is spherical. The only way that you can create a circular shadow on the moon is for whatever is eclipsing the sun, the Earth, to be a spherical body.
But the anti-moon, I mean the moon's spherical and the sun's spherical, so the anti-moon is spherical.
I have another question.
Okay.
So the sun's a spotlight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 32 miles across.
It's like that Pixar one. It's like
yeah.
It is.
And it's 32 miles across.
Yes.
So there's going to be 32 miles on the Earth that have daylight.
Yeah.
No. That's not true because, all right. So you're above the surface of the Earth, and so that cone goes down. So the surface area is larger.
the opposite of whatever the umbra is.
Yeah,
And,
so-
and if it orbits
Umbra,
just
penumbra.
that point in the North Pole, how do you get night?
Well, anything outside. So the spotlight, the light is a cone. So
Wait.
anything outside the cone is dark.
Then shouldn't it always be like kind of the same time at the North Pole or the same? Because I mean, if it's going around, so you should have constant, basically, a constant
Right. So
a
you know,
situation happening.
you know, flat earthers. I don't want to tell you what you need to do.
But purple is the best color crayon to eat.
Purple's great. I love purple. It's a beautiful color. It's my favorite color. So they need to do, you flat earthers, you need to figure out an epicycle system.
Yeah.
Basically, that will take the sun more south during the seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here
They
is.
need to I don't know.
Yeah. So this is math. I'm sorry, but this is math,
Uh-oh.
and it's vectors.
Oh, what's that? I don't. Okay. I'm in for the ride. Let's go.
Just like a vector.
If the Earth is flat,
Uh-huh.
and you go you start off at the North Pole, okay, and you go 10,000 miles in one direction, okay, and you hang a right. This perfect 90 degrees. You hang a right. And you go 10,000 miles in that direction, and then hang a right, and you go 10,000 miles in that direction.
Are you going that way?
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. All right. You are, at the end of this 3-leg journey, you're 10,000 miles away from the North Pole.
Always.
On a flat Earth. Always.
Always.
But
Always.
Always.
On a spherical Earth,
Things get fucked.
which is how things really are. If you start off at the North Pole, and you go 10,000 miles in whatever direction you want to go. It does not matter. You are heading south, 10,000 miles.
Yeah.
And then you hang a right,
Uh-huh.
and you go 10,000 miles. That way, you're basically heading in an east or west direction, depending on which way you go. And then you're heading west, right? Yeah, you're heading west. So then you hang a right, and go 10,000 miles, you end up right back at the North Pole.
You know how I explained that? Dark magic.
Dark magic. Yes, exactly right. And that's how it actually happens.
Getting to some comments. My mom says, humor aside, do they believe in earthquakes?
I mean,
Yeah,
you can't. You can't.
That's just,
You have to, but I've been in one.
it's just the turtle scratching an itch.
I've been in several.
I've been in two that I know
Yeah,
of.
I mean,
but,
you feel it.
But, you know, the thing is I think the Zectic or whatever it is.
Zepetic.
Yeah, whatever the fuck they believe in. It's a little bit more than how you feel. I think it's what can you see with just your eyes, and what you can touch and that type of thing. But also how you feel about it.
But you can see
But-
the curvature. All right.
So, with that in mind, the Earth is shaking, so
The
they
turtles
have
are
to believe in
just-
it.
yeah.
Now, what they believe is causing it, I'm not entirely sure.
The lizard people underneath the earth.
That's Hollow Earth. That's Hollow Earth, and that would
That's
actually
new
be a
set of-
spherical
That's
Earth.
new set of
So
conspiracy.
they would not believe in that.
Jack says Auntie Moon is married to Uncle Moon, but is having an affair with Mr. Sun next door.
Oh.
And yes, the moon is spherical, right? The moon is round. The moon is spherical. The
It
sun is
depends on
spherical.
who you talk to.
Everything. How many things are flat in our solar system?
It depends on who you
Saturn's
talk to.
rings.
Well, yes, those are
Um,
flat.
You know, the thing is like some of them believe that the moon is flat. Some of them believe that it's spherical. So they can't even
Alright.
get their story straight.
Let's just. All right, because they don't think gravity's a thing. God, it's just.
This theory's
Like-
falling flat.
It's the. I mean, it's just basic.
Oh, you have to take a drink to that. That was well done.
It's basic physics. The least energetic state for something is a sphere. That's why water droplets form a sphere, because it's the least energy to hold all those water molecules together.
Yeah, let's actually talk about that.
Okay.
So, it actually takes more energy to keep the Earth flat and pizza-like than it does to make it a sphere.
Yeah.
So if the Earth were flat, it would not take long for gravity to overcome those internal forces that would keep the Earth flat or potato-shaped if it was an asteroid or whatever, and gravity be like, hold my beer, I'm going to fuck up this pizza, I'm going to break it up, and the Earth would quickly just break apart and become a sphere.
I mean, if you hold your arms out, they get tired after a while. It's just easier to keep
Yeah.
them
Well, no,
down.
that's not true.
Yeah.
The stick but that's not fucking spinning. Never mind.
So I don't think flat Earth people are going to deny that mountains exist, right?
You can't.
Exactly. And so
You can't.
You'd be surprised.
You can walk on them and go up.
if the Earth were flat and had a flat bottom to it, but on
Flat bottom girls.
flat bottom. But on top you
Flat bottom
have
jeans.
But on top you have like some mountains and things like that. The center of gravity is going to pull on the tops of those mountains.
So they should be like sloping inward.
And so they're going to be pulled in, and all things lead to a sphere.
A flat Earth would be crazy looking.
It really would
If
be.
it could exist.
Now, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I would love to have a flat Earth. I would love to be able to see the large and small Magellanic Clouds. And that comes from just I would love to be able to see like the Southern Cross and all that, but that's just not how physics works. And I want physics to work.
But I have a thought. Okay, if you're on a flat Earth, you can't see what's below you.
No. Oh, that's an interesting
you can't
thing.
see the turtles.
You can't see the turtles.
You can't see the turtles.
Because no one can climb that 150-foot wall and look over the edge.
Okay, all right, here's the thing.
Okay.
At sea level, speaking of looking beneath you, at sea level, the Earth takes up 180 degrees of your field of view. It takes up half your view. Right, there's 180 degrees below you, 180 degrees above you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the sky is exactly 180 degrees if you're at sea level. If you were to go on top of Mount Everest, the sky is actually more than 180 degrees.
Yeah.
Which
It's more than flat.
which is more than flat, which means that the Earth is spherical. Also, an interesting thing about spherical planets is you can see two sunsets. So,
True.
what?
I said yeah.
Yeah. So if you're lying, let's say you're at the beach, because this is where it's really gonna work out best for you.
All right, I'm at the beach.
If you're in Hawaii,
Oh,
okay, there's a break.
Heard that.
If you are in Hawaii and you have what is called a beautifully mixed atmosphere,
Or drink.
or drink, yes. So if you have what's like nicely, evenly mixed atmosphere, not very turbulent, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And and the clouds towards the west are not there. If you are lying on your stomach and the minute that the Earth goes beneath the horizon, you can jump up and watch that sunset again. It'll just be a little sliver of the sun.
When we go to Hawaii, if we ever get there again.
It is a sliver of the sun. It's not like you're seeing the whole sun.
Yeah.
However,
Because you
though,
caught it in time to.
Yep. With a flat Earth, you can't do that. And so.
There you go, chat.
Oh, that was aggressive.
Challenge the flat earthers out there. Go lie on the beach in Hawaii and then jump up.
And just
see
do
if
one
you get-
burpee.
And see if you get a second sunset.
Do half a burpee. You start on the ground and then jump up. But actually, what's great is like I don't know anywhere where this would be true, but you could actually be lying on the ground, watch the sunset, get in a very fast-moving elevator, go to the top, and be able to watch the entire. Are you sleepy? To watch the entire sun go beneath the horizon, another sunset. So you can get two sunsets, which is impossible in a flat Earth. So I just think that's like one of the coolest things.
That is neat.
I have a question.
Yes, Liz.
You could dig to the other side.
Digging through the other side. There you go. Jack has suggested a clapper for turning off the sun. Shit. What was my question?
The dogs are.
They're going nuts.
I don't know what they're barking
I
at.
don't know what they're barking at.
I want to
either.
go look,
I
but
know,
I'm in the middle.
All right. Like, if the Earth was flat,
Which it is.
how would evolution? How and could or what? Like, we shouldn't. We couldn't be here. How would we evolve as a species to get to this point to recognize that our Earth was flat and develop the technology to climb a 150-foot wall and gain some fucking visual evidence?
First of all, trees would look very different
on a flat Earth. How do they go up?
Well,
buoyancy.
Not curve and not.
As you get further to that wall in Antarctica, they're going to be more slanted because the roots go towards the center of gravity, which is the center of the Earth, which for us in the real world, it's straight down.
So no tree should ever lean south in the real on a flat
No,
Earth.
they should all lean south. So as you get further from the center of this disc, which is the North Pole, then what's going to happen is the trees are going to lean more south.
Because the roots are going
north.
Oh.
The tree itself.
So all trees basically should be like, hey.
Lean back.
Lean back.
Lean back.
Lean back?
What year are we in?
It's 2021.
I'm reliving my punk days with Circle Jerk, so
Lean back.
Lean back. Yeah, that was like some rap song, right?
Yeah. I don't know how Circle Jerks come into this.
No. Because you're like, what year are we or whatever.
I think it's just an excuse to say Circle Jerks.
No, I'm living in the past with my music. Is what I'm saying. So I don't do the new music.
Yeah, no, I meant like with the lean back specific.
Anyway, all right. So you just broke that down. Broke it down.
My mom says we be Swiss cheese. That's fun. That's a fun.
I mean, basically, there's just a lot of shit wrong with this.
So you wouldn't have humans as you would today on a flat Earth because
the evolution would be different.
Requirements, the evolution being like the environmental situation of the evolution would be completely different. So you wouldn't even have you maybe even wouldn't have a species that developed as far as we have, or also asteroid impacts.
Oh, they would punch through. If they were big enough, they would punch through.
Like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. What happened
That's
there?
huge. I mean, that was a huge asteroid.
It hit the flat Earth, and the flat Earth, went up
but
real fast.
Would you not have
like a springboard, and that's what flew the dinosaurs off the Earth.
They were just launched.
Yeah.
Because it came in Mexico, so it was like,
yeah.
You're off. But, I mean, dinosaurs at the equator would have survived it.
I mean,
that's why we have fossils.
It's a lot. It's so irrational.
How did the moon form?
It's so irrational to just...
How did any of it form?
Basic science and observation, and the Greeks were the first to measure the circumference of the Earth.
We didn't even talk about that.
We
We did not even talk about that.
3rd century BC figured it out.
Which is okay. I would like to, for the record, which I meant to do this in the main show, but for the record, I would like to just say that when early exploration with ships began by, let's face it, white Europeans, the age of exploration. When you had Polynesians that were doing it
Polynesians did it first
for much longer using the stars and traveling, but the age of exploration, of course, defined by white people, they knew the Earth was not flat. They were not going out there going, well, I hope we don't reach the edge of the Earth and fall off. They knew it was not flat because we've known it's been spherical since at least the Greeks, the ancient Greeks.
I do have an answer for that.
Okay.
They say it's an optical illusion.
What's an optical illusion?
The moon? the moon. The moon is a...
You do get a moon illusion.
Yeah, the moon
Because of the
actually...
curvature of the Earth and the thickness of the atmosphere on the horizon makes the moon look bigger. But if you have a flat Earth, you can't have a moon illusion.
No, but... Okay, so... All right, no, but... All right, no, with the moon illusion is how our brains interpret the moon. So the moon is close to the horizon.
Yeah.
But
the atmosphere is thicker and the light bends in a way that makes it look...
But it also is that how we interpret... So the moon is close to the horizon. It looks smaller compared to the horizon, and we know that the moon is further away, and so our brains make it bigger.
Our brains like to overcompensate.
So so actually, if you go out and it's a full moon, it doesn't even matter. But the full moon works great. And you're looking at it over in the east, it looks fucking huge. But if you put your thumb up, it covers the face of the moon. And if you wait a few hours and the full moon is up above you, you put your thumb over it. It covers the same face.
That perception.
It's all about perception.
Yes.
And so I think what this person was saying, whoever it was it's all about perception, how our brains interpret it, and that type of thing. But it makes no sense because when you're looking at, like you said, when you're looking at a ship that is far out, what do you see? You see the mast of the ship and not the hull of the ship. Hull, HULL. So, it's because it's beneath the... Oh, and this is another thing. This is another thing that the flat earthers did. So there were some flat earthers that were like, hey, we're going to go out to a lake and we're going to shoot a laser. And we're going to aim this laser... Yeah. We're going to aim this laser at a piece of wood, and that laser dot, because we're aiming it right at the surface of the water, should be exactly where the water line is. But what they found was that it was a few inches. It was a few inches above the water.
Why?
Because the Earth is not flat.
Oh God! And then they went out with that.
Yep, it was
broken. That's a defective laser, didn't it?
Yeah, there was some sort of excuse. It wasn't conclusive. It's
just
very
like,
conclusive.
That's the entire basis of the Kenham whatever fucking Ark museum is.
Yeah, and you know what?
Inconclusive.
So
cherry pick data.
I can't remember where I was going. It was something for work.
You work your way around it again.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. So I was going somewhere and
across it there is no round.
I flew directly over Chicago. And if you're looking towards the east, you can see Michigan. That is because I'm 35,000 feet up. I can see the whole thing, right? So, so flying, but in flat Earth world, you should be able to stand on the shores of Lake Michigan in Michigan and be able to see Chicago, but you can't.
Yeah.
That's because the Earth is curved.
Yeah.
So I really think that a lot of these people, not everybody, but a lot of these people, don't want you to believe in science, because it impacts their religious views. There's a religious
undertone to it, yeah.
Yeah, to the point where, like they said in one of the videos that we watched for this podcast, is that they call it scientism.
Oh, which is making science religion.
Which is not the first time that we've heard this. Because let's be honest, we worked in planetariums. Oh, did they bark?
Yeah, it was Jack. I don't know. Speaking of Jack, he says flat Earth Olympics would be interesting.
Yeah, gravity doesn't exist, so how are you gonna do the javelin?
The shot put, the luge.
Yeah, don't they shoot like a javelin? Isn't it like a spear they shoot?
Do they do that anymore in the Olympics, or is that just from the ancient Greek Olympics?
Javelin throwing and track and field is still a thing.
Is it?
Oh, it's a
Is
thing?
it still a thing? Okay.
But anyway, if it wasn't, the shot put where they throw it off their ear.
You did it correctly, yeah. Don't they like spin around and then?
But
Oh, yes.
how does basketball work?
God, no.
Oh, okay. How does basketball work? Like, hey, who's somebody in basketball?
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash.
He's like a captain now. He doesn't play though, right?
He's a coach.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Whatever.
So I'm way out there. I'm Steve Nash. I shoot a ball. Gravity. Magnets. There's no metal in a basketball. How is it going to come down and go into the basket?
Well, it's because the Earth's moving up.
Yeah.
Go on, man.
Okay, but not everybody believes in that.
Know the science.
No, science is not real. Scientism is a
It's a
religion.
Oh my god.
The thing is like some of these religious people, because they know that they want the earth to be flat because of religious arguments. So what they have to do is they have to say that science is religion. It's not. Science is not a religion. Religion believes in a god. Or gods. It could be plural.
Changes based on the data and evidence presented.
Yeah.
It's not a
Science-
held belief. It's just
Yeah.
facts of things that have been observed.
Yeah, science doesn't care. Science. Okay, if you are a scientist and you can prove the existence of God, you will get a Nobel Prize.
And probably assassinated somehow by by some other religion. Like you can't. You proved the wrong god.
Yeah, exactly. But you will get a Nobel Prize. I mean, physics does not care. The fundamental questions of science is not does God exist? Science does not care. Science wants to be able to make predictions about how the universe works and be able to test those predictions. So the make predictions is the theory. To test that is the experiment, and that is the two sides of physics.
Make predictions is the hypothesis.
Yes.
Yeah, you said theory.
Yeah. All right.
The theory is when you have the data to back up your hypothesis, and you're like, it's solid.
So you make the hypothesis about how the universe works, and that is what we call the theory side of science.
We're at the point where we're breaking down the scientific method.
Yeah.
Ask a question. Come up with your hypothesis based on said question. What you think the answer is going to be, basically. Test that shit. And then what the data says, either it confirms your question, therefore making it a theory, or you need to either collect more data, or you need to revise your hypothesis based on what the data has shown you.
And really, you want to collect as much data as you can. One data point does not.
Yeah, as much data as you can to solidify the whatever, if it's answering your question or not. And if it's not answering your question, you revise your question to match what the data is showing you.
Yeah, and to be honest, an apple falling from an apple tree does not
prove gravity.
No,
you need a lot
does
more.
not make gravity a theory.
Yeah. It makes it a hypothesis.
Okay. So
it's you know what, it counts as one. It's now they're barking is just a singular event. I'm sorry.
So I love how like these people, and it doesn't. This is beyond flat Earth. It's like it's just a theory. Mm-hmm. Well, theory in science means that there is a shit ton of evidence,
concrete evidence
that says, hey, this is correct.
Yeah.
The general theory of relativity means that we have not found an experiment that we have conducted that has contradicted the general theory of relativity.
It's essentially the general fact of relativity.
Yes. Now, when you talk about Newtonian gravity, what do we call it? We call it a law. And it is not. It was a theory in that pretty much everything, proved it to be correct. However, you can look at the thing called Mercury.
And go, oh, it doesn't behave it
correctly. So there's a lot of evidence behind Newtonian physics, Newtonian gravity. But there's also it doesn't explain everything. So it's a law. It's pretty powerful. It's a law. It's beyond a hypothesis. We know it works.
But
If an apple falls,
But you can always break laws.
you can always break
can always
laws.
break laws.
And Einstein broke that fucking
Whereas,
law.
like, my DNA in my body would be a theory because it's DNA and it's solid, and I only have my DNA because I don't have any twins that I know of. Right, Mom? Yes.
I would love it.
And my mom's
like,
like,
well,
wow!
Well, ...
We have an anti-Liz.
Oh,
If I was a
please.
boy, I was going to be named Brian, so there's a Brian out there that's hidden from me somewhere.
Karen, can you please say that? Please say that. Please say that. Please say that.
No. Can you imagine if there were two of me? Oh, God.
So many broken plates.
There's enough Davisons causing havoc.
I mean, basically, at the end of the day, they just don't want this to interfere with their religious
Their
beliefs.
preconceived notion of the world that makes them comfortable and feel safe because anything else is scary and they don't want to psychologically deal with it.
So, I mean, you have the religious people who are like, oh, I don't want this to... but you know what? I mean, I really hate to say this. I hate to say it. You had the punks out there who are like, fuck society, I'm going to go with the contrarian attitude. And I really don't know if I believe this, but I'm going to say it because,
It would be a nightmare for Katie if there were two me's. Maybe one would be nice. I love you now so much. I treasure you. Anyway.
Wow, gave us an idea. All right, well, there you go.
Of what they can expect.
All right, so I mean, yeah, whatever. Like you said,
there's sometimes to rebel. And there's sometimes where you just gotta accept things, and that's that the Earth is round and spherical, because the facts prove that.
Yeah.
Rebel against the patriarchy, not against the spherical.
Yeah, I do think. I do think. Okay, Katie's got some.
No,
yeah.
we're having a sisterly moment. It's fine.
Through chat in real time.
Like now.
I do think that, okay, we're going off topic, but I'm going to go there.
It's
but
the hangover.
It's the hangover. Punk,
Mm-hmm.
fuck what society thinks. But you do get to a point where it's just, as you grow older, as you grow as an older punk.
Elder punk.
Elder punk.
Elder millennial. Elder punk.
It is, you choose your punk battles. No, in all honesty. Because, I mean, you can, okay, so...
No one's got the stamina or the muscle dexterity or...
Yeah, so Johnny Rotten just...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Johnny Rotten just...
Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols, for everybody. Lead singer of the Sex Pistols. He's a punk icon.
British.
It's like meeting Joey Ramone. These are the punk icons. These are the original punks.
So it's like if I met Dimebag Daryl.
Okay, but nobody knows that except for you and me.
Nobody knows. Okay, people know Joey Ramone. I'll give you that.
Okay, well, yeah.
Okay,
So
it's like if I met Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay, people know Ozzy Osbourne. So
Robert Plant.
Okay, we got
Kurt Cobain.
Oh,
Sure.
great example. Yes, there we go. Okay. So, if just an icon of punk, and you find out, and you revere this man, because he defines what punk is. I mean, he has a song called Anarchy in the UK, which was covered as Anarchy in the US. But anyway, and you find out he voted for a certain quote-unquote politician.
Orange colored.
Yeah, orange color. And he voted for them twice because he felt like, and he's actually a U.S. citizen, by the way. So U.S., British, and Irish, which is really, there's a lot to unpack there.
Otherwise, it would be voter fraud, which one party is known for.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's not the one you
They want you to think it is.
Yeah. So anyway, he said he voted for this orange individual with fake hair because he would mess things up.
Because it's different and it's rebellious and it's shaking up the fucking...
Yeah, and at some point you just have to go, that's just too much. That's... I believe in my punk ideals, but this is not really, at the end of the day, a true punk ideal.
Especially when one's a rapist.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway.
And so, that's my punk thoughts for the day.
Your punk song?
Thoughts.
Okay. Anyway, we were talking about why the Earth is flat. Why the Earth is not flat.
Oh, you just let it out. You just let it out. Secrets out of the bag, guys.
Oh no! We are a conspiracy theory.
That's a group of podcasters. It's called Conspiracy Theory.
Really?
I assume.
I'm really hoping we get comments. I want comments. We won't, but I do want them.
Maybe.
Anybody have any other questions?
I think that, our normal audience that's live with us are rational individuals that follow the just accepted science, and accepted science is not said in which are flat earthers think a negative connotation, but just shit that's proven by basic observation and objective experimentation and evidence gained from that. And I don't see the benefit of a flat earth or believing in such other than the psychological need for whatever these people need to get through their day and live their lives. Whether it's a sense of belonging to a group, a rebellion against the status quo that gives them a feeling of power and control over their lives.
So flat earth could be solved by a good hug.
Yeah, probably, actually. I'm sure a lot of these people need a good hug and just affirmation that you are enough. You don't need to be a part of a crazy cult conspiracy theorist group to belong in this society. Because look, at the end of the day, every single one of us is fucked up in some way. We all have our own weirdness and,
Perfect.
Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all flesh and blood. We all have feelings and,
where are you going
want
with this?
a sense of...
I'm
getting there. And we want a sense of belonging.
And we're all human.
But
basically, the punchline is you all need a hug, and she spent 10 minutes getting.
This is the time of the episode where Liz, gets
where the alcohol
out.
gets me. No, but at the end of the day, here's the thing: a lot of this thinking, where even if it's 1% of Americans and 6% that are unsure,
eating crayons,
that percentage can be detrimental to the advancement of society, which we've already seen.
Because they vote.
Because, yeah, I mean, I think that just even if we're a unknown group of people in this sea of the internet of just overabundance content, trying to dispel these myths and these beliefs that people have, because at the end of the day, they are, I think, detrimental to society when you have anybody that's not either able to critically think or want to critically think, because we see that with the current pandemic where you have people that are, say, a small percentage of people adds up over time, where people are saying not to wear a mask, don't get vaccines, and it becomes an issue on the whole, where it's actually affecting people and
killing people.
And we're at a point in our society where we have the ability and the technology to really advance ourselves and really make the world a better place, but whether it's through means of greed and capitalism or what have you, it creates a limiting block on how far we can progress. And that ends up hurting people and ultimately killing us in terms of climate change. And when we look at that kind of avenue and just how we have responded as a civilization of humans across the globe to the recent pandemic, you know, that these things, even though we do a lot of joking and we make a lot of light out of these people being stupid and idiots and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's really important that you critically think about the things that are happening and accept the realities, the evidence that is there to make responsible decisions and healthy decisions as a society.
Right, but I think okay, no, hold on. Okay. There's like 30 minutes of stuff to unpack there. But I think though, and this is larger conversation. Yeah. You took the hangover.
I got real existential with it, didn't I?
No, you did. Cheers. But the hangout became really quite. Okay.
It's alcohol pun. Hangover. It's an alcohol pun. It's easy to follow.
Okay. I winked to Brandon.
Okay. I didn't see it.
Okay, no, I know, because I turned to Brandon
anyway,
and winked.
It's because Mike's head isn't flat, it's round, so you can't see that.
I think that we, in all seriousness, and it's just the three of us, it's not the whole world. No, it's the whole scientific community. Mm-hmm. We need to figure out how to talk to the flat earthers. And if you can figure out how to talk to flat earthers, you know how to talk to the anti-mask people and things like that. I feel like that we call them QAnon idiots and they are, but that is not how we need to talk to them.
Yeah.
People
don't respond with
I don't think that we necessarily need to say they're equals, because I don't feel they are, but we need to at least have them feel like that they are part of the conversation and we need to address them. This is not coming. It's the hangover. I'm almost 2 hours into this.
I'm trying to get to where your math was earlier. You wanted a 2-hour show, so
yeah,
we got 10 minutes. To account for the propulsion of the Earth upwards.
We will end before then. But we need to figure out a way to talk with them and not talk to them.
I suggest writing messages in crayon.
Because the problem is that
what I just did.
They vote. They vote.
Is that their children, and children don't like it when you talk at them? You gotta coddle them and be like, see
yeah. Ironically, though, they don't like it when their children talk back to them. So, the thing is, though, is that we need to figure out a way to talk to them and let them know, because I think they do come from an angle where religion is extremely important to them, and science at this point, because we are, let's be honest, we are exploring the extremes of the universe. We're exploring black holes, which is the extreme of gravity, neutron stars, which really and honestly are the extreme of gravity. You need general theory of relativity to describe them. And that's on the large scale. On the small scale, we are looking at the extremes of the universe with the Higgs boson and, quarks and things like that. And so this is stuff that is so unfamiliar to them that they can't relate to it. And they immediately think this is scientists saying that God does not exist. Especially when we write books called the God particle. which
call it
I
what it
actually
was.
have
The goddamn
autographed.
Bible.
And so it you know, it's, of course they're going to see this as an affront to their beliefs.
Yeah, even though the same physics that makes all the shit inside you work applies to the Earth and the universe as well.
But you have to make them see that.
Yeah.
And I realize this is larger than what this podcast is. But you have to let them see that science is not a threat. And that science really is just trying to understand the world around us. It is to a point where the Earth is going to go to hell in a handbasket because people are so scared of science that they don't want to accept that climate change is real, that the Earth is round,
that we have the power to affect the climate of the entire planet.
and you know, pandemics are real, and that wearing a mask will, you know, greatly reduce the transmission.
This is when time travel would be valuable. 1908. Go back in time.
Yeah. I know 1918, but yeah. So the Spanish flu.
Go back in time. See how well
Not a good time to go.
it works out without any modern medicine.
The problem is that, like, okay, we went to the grocery store yesterday, and we saw a guy with a "fuck Biden" shirt on. It was a tank top, so I was like, it's very cold. But anyway, it said "fuck Biden," and you know, the thing is like, if you were to go ask this guy and talk to him, he'd be like, you know, mask, it should be mandated. And I think if somebody like him were scientifically literate, he would understand the importance of masks. He would understand that climate change is real. But he's so scared of science, and I realize I'm projecting onto him, but he is so scared of science that mask is an affront to his quote-unquote freedoms. Climate change is not real because this is all from science. You know what I mean? So.
And those libs.
But this is a larger conversation than this podcast.
Have a progressive thought.
And all of a sudden, the hangover has become a really heavy topic.
I'm sorry.
Aren't you though?
No.
You're so punk.
No. I'm metal. How dare you? How dare you?
You're punk.
No.
We'll see how punk you are on Thursday.
Anyway, all right.
All right.
My mom says if we have leaders who play into their misguided notions, they feel right and want us to be wrong. So how do you include them?
Well, okay. You get rid of money for one thing. All right. So
replicators.
Let's fix democracy right now.
Star Trek universe.
All right. Ted Cruz.
Greed.
Ted Cruz. DeSantis.
Katie, I've never seen Brandon so angry.
It doesn't help that I'm not drinking this episode.
I know.
This is the worst episode not to drink. And I'm
not
just seething. And I barely said anything because I'm just angry.
He's so mad.
Meanwhile, Liz and I get to drink. We get to drink.
We're having a great time. We're having a good time.
We're having a good time. We're having a good time. The thing is with like DeSantis and Ted Cruz and their ilk, it really boils down to the fact it's all about money.
It's all about money. I mean, that's at the end of the day. Capitalism is the end of the world.
And in one of the
unregulated.
In one of the videos that we watched for this podcast, it really boils down to money. That the people, except for the religious fucker, they don't really believe this. It's just all about the money.
Oh yeah, like I'm sure,
it's all about the money.
Like
so,
the head of Scientology, what's his name? Whatever. It's all about the money. It's
yeah.
all about,
so Ted Cruz.
Control and power, money.
The Ted Cruz.
God, gold to glory.
The Ted Cruz people of the world have realized that the money is in this and being a fucking ass.
Yeah.
And realizing Ted Cruz is a smart guy. He's not an idiot. Trump is an idiot, but Ted Cruz is not an idiot. Mitch McConnell, Turtle Man, is not an idiot. They are smart. They know climate change is real. They know that you need to wear a fucking mask. But they also know I can get money from these dumb fuckers who will give me however much money they give me, and I can stay in power.
What did you want to say, Brandon?
I don't remember.
So mad.
I'm sorry.
No, there's just a lot to unpack as well. So, okay.
He's gonna get on a plane tomorrow and start screaming
So
at 8:00, and then
8
we're gonna see a headline on CNN: unruly passenger pulled off a plane.
My mom makes it
And
interesting.
it's Brandon.
My mom says they want to be taken care of by a super being, and they don't need to take responsibility. And I think actually that's
that's part of it too.
That's a big part of I think the human condition
for some of them
is not wanting to take responsibility and have that weight and have to deal with shit and whatever.
Yeah,
and it's taking the easy road or whatever.
I mean, let's be honest. It would be so much easier to blame hurricanes and
gay people?
earthquakes and tornadoes on gay people. Interestingly enough, tornadoes and earthquakes affect more red states than blue states, but
So
whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's
they got a lot
it's
of
much
closets
easier.
in those states.
Oh, we're gonna
We
start
have to
barking
for
again.
tornadoes.
It is so much easier to believe in, or I mean, to want to believe in that. That there is some reason for the evilness in the world, But hey, thank God for DeSantis, and hey, if we just don't say gay, there won't be gay people.
Get cancer.
Yeah, and if we just from kindergarten to third grade, if we don't say gay in any kind of way, there will be
Imagine how
no
happy
gay
people would be if you grew up as a child knowing it was okay to feel however you feel.
It'd be a happier
and to be
society.
like, Mom, I think I'm in the wrong body. I feel more like this way. And then as you get older, being like, yeah, no, I'm definitely in the wrong body. Imagine how healthy of a society we would be if we just all accepted each other and things. And just our weird...
I think Kermit the Frog is going to start playing in the background now.
Anyway, all right. So,
Rainbow Connection.
At the end of the day, the Earth is not flat. It's spherical through a plethora of objective and visual evidence.
And gay people exist.
Gay people are a thing. It's a real.
And trans people.
Hey, there's gay animals. It's evolution, people. It's how it happens.
Gay penguins.
Yeah, you're the lead of the show, so I'm helping.
Oh, I know. I thought you were
going
going to keep going. So, hey, let's wrap it up. So, join us in a couple weeks. We'll be, like I said, on the road. We're going to Bend, Oregon. They have been gracious enough, the whole city, to let us in.
The whole city has been gracious. One house in the whole city has been gracious enough to host us.
We're going to be at the Davison Theater.
No tickets are available.
No, it's sold out.
Sold
it is
out.
sold
Select few
out.
VIP only.
And the only way to see this is to actually join us online.
Yes.
And we'll see everybody in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Topic to be figured out then.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But we do know Podcast Mom will be joining us.
Podcast Mom.
For the hangover, at least, with many of her questions about space.
I think it should be the whole thing. I think it should be your dad and your mom and on stage with us at Davison Theater. Okay. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
We'll see you. Oh, right. I need the mouse to actually end this.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. Bye!
Bye. Yeah, we'll see some of you.